Right, in this episode, we are gonna go take down two major areas and two fiends, and we're gonna see how efficiently we can do it. It's very good to have the class update done before this, because these boss battles can be a little bit nasty. See, I can kind of tear my way through a whole bunch of these monsters. So yeah, here in Mount Golg, as it is called in this version, the lava hurts you as you walk through it, so be mindful of your health, all of your characters. And as you're walking through lava, if it's causing damage to you, you will not run into any enemy encounters, or you could just turn them off, since this is the Pixel Remaster. Another thing to do big time as well is make use of the healing staff and healing helms if you find those at some point as you run through random encounters and stuff like that, so you can conserve your items and your MP. This is definitely a big thing to keep in mind to keep your mages busy in battle, because they're not going to be doing any damage with their physical attacks. Now, if you run into some really big parties, then yeah, you want your black mage to just nuke everything. So here, for example, I've got my black mage using the gauntlets to do some pretty good damage. It's not going to do as much damage as if he just casted Thundara. It's some kind of penalty against the damage, but there's no way he could do 119 with a physical attack right now. Later on he can, with the cat claws equipped, of course. Another cool thing about this version is that you can use the gauntlets with, a fighter or a ninja or even a black belt or a master or something like that if you need to. But because the intelligence stat actually works in this version, you'll notice a significant change in the damage. It's going to be kind of weak. Let's see if I can get this right. Alright, so as you can see, I'm making very good use of the ice brand in this place. Most of the monsters are weak to the ice brand. Ice brand is going to serve me well for a while, I'll put it that way. Oh, here, I didn't realize that they had this big wall running up the whole left side, so there's no way to get through, so I gotta backtrack. Okay, stairs. Okay. Try to make sure that my voice is synced up correctly with this. This particular episode, the music and the sound effects got unsynced with the gameplay as well, and I had to do extra editing to get it to sound correct. So I appreciate you bearing with me. We're going to get through this. Again, this is a fun game, but definitely not my favorite. As you can tell, this room is essentially, I feel like, designed to make you waste your time walking around, making sure you got everything, and basically killing your party members in the process. Very lovely. So now I have to do a whole bunch of healing. There we go. Yep, and you see why I had to do the healing. Okay, well, one lava worm wouldn't have caused me much problems. So you notice a lot of chests are full of gil in this game, and I think that's actually kind of a nice touch, as opposed to some of the other later games. I just found another ice brand. See, I would be doing fantastic if I had a red mage or a knight right about now. So you'll see, for the ice armor and the ice shield and the fire, they resist the opposite elements. So one smart thing to do right about now is put one of each on a character like a ninja or a knight that can equip both, so that you can resist fire and ice. Just a cool thought to have there. But yeah, if I had another party member that could use an ice brand, I could really tear through this place. That is not to say that my master is not extremely useful. So this is the last room in this place already. So you can see how I was able to make quick work of it. with some little changes. Also, this entire episode you're watching, the regular gameplay is in 2x speed, just because it seemed tedious in my opinion. Flame mill, very, 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 very useful. So, better to... I mean, I could have an ice shield and flame mill, but for right now, I'm concerned with resisting fire. Obviously, the boss here, Merilith, is going to use fire on me, so, you know, be prepared for that. So, same strategy, you want to get Nullfire up, you want to get Invisora and Protect up, you want to get Haste and Temper up. Oh, and I did not use any ethers on my ninja in order to be able to get haste or temper up. So, let's see, 16 hits with the Ice Brand, doing about 284 damage versus 80 punching damage. Then you throw a temper on top of the haste and the Ice Brand. That was a crit. It's 16 hits from my master and did pretty good. Let's see. 314 now with my ninja before temper. Oh, look at that. Master did over 400 damage. And I've already beaten the boss. This is literally not even cheesy at this point. You can't say that my 4x experience has caused me to be over leveled or anything. Like, this is just the way that the game is. If you know what to do, you can tear through any boss. It's that simple. You will see, however, coming up pretty soon, there's some situations where it's pretty easy to get wiped out. Subtle foreshadowing. Not subtle at all. Let me just say that Chaos is brutal compared to all these other bosses. He has like 10,000 HP, and it's a doozy. You got a horse? Go watch your show, bud. Did your show go off? Okay. So, I'm gonna take the steps that I need to in order to get down to where the water crystal is. And I'm gonna handle something for my son. Be right back. Okay, I am back. So, the next two fiends and their locations that they are in is a little bit complicated. So, I came here to Lufinia. I probably shouldn't have come this early, but I'm just checking it out. Also, there's a really good spell shop that I'm going to take advantage of. Always recommend Full Life and Flare for any party with a black wizard and a white wizard. There's no reason to not get these things. As a matter of fact, that's the whole thing that sets a black wizard and a white wizard apart from a red wizard, is basically this. You know, there's some other small things, but yeah, Full Life and Flare. Flare is extremely powerful, but it's not... You would think it would help your black wizard get his damage output on par with like a physical fighter, and it doesn't. So that's just the unfortunate truth of it. Your black mage is basically there to buff and then start throwing out flares when he's done with his buffing. So that's kind of how it is. So what you see me doing right now, aimlessly wandering, is there are 3 things you have to do in order to get to where the water fiend is. 1, you have to find a small patch of desert, which is right there. And there is a caravan that somebody in the world, once again, told you about somewhere. And this caravan found a fairy. It's a bottled fairy. You see it costs 40,000 gil. You buy the bottled fairy. Then you have to take said bottled fairy to... I can't remember if it's Gaia or Anrak. There's a waterfall there. Make note of that. So, let's see. We're going to save, and then... I think kind of just want to see what kind of monsters I can encounter here. So on rock here is where you want to go after you have gone to Gaia. So you want to go to Gaia with the fairy. The fairy will give you Oxyale, which enables you to breathe underwater. Then once you can breathe underwater, you come back here to Onrock, and you can go to a place on the right side of town where they have a submarine, and they'll tell you to go save the mermaids or something like that, and then you'll go down into the sunken shrine, and there is a very huge area with the best music in the entire game. Yeah, this guy just said something about it. So it's tedious having to fulfill all the requirements for this next section, because what I'm going to be looking out for is the Rosetta Stone, the Warp Cube, the Wind Chime, and I have to have all those in order to get to the Wind Fiend after doing the underwater. The underwater, you got to get the Bottled Fairy and then go to Gaia to get the Oxyale to come back here to Onrock to go. And yeah, I'm tired just talking about it. It's pretty annoying. So I made a great decision to go ahead and get Heal Uga, which is the best spell to heal your entire party in this game. Very useful for most of the boss fights, because you'll have them using multi-targeting attacks, and it's pretty brutal. So once you have bought the Bottled Fairy from the caravan north of here, they start selling some different stuff that I want to show here. I highly recommend, when you're done buying everything else in the game that you need, you come here and you invest in all these things. Giant's Tonics and Strength Tonic particularly are extremely important. I would suggest getting at least 8 of each Strength Tonics and Giant Tonics, at least in preparation for the final boss. There's a chance that you could use them elsewhere. If you have like a lot of money and you just need to go blow it somewhere, that's fine. But if you could just gather up, 20,000, something like that gil, that you don't really need to spend on anything else, you can go there. So look, you enter town, the fairy's like, hey, I know where I need to go. And then you gotta follow the fairy and not do what I'm doing. Watch my failures here. Okay, the fairy went back here. Nope, not there. Okay, the fairy went back here somewhere. Is it up this way? There's the fairy. So anyways, yeah, the fairy gives you the Oxyale, and then you go back to Onrock. The cool thing is, close to Onrock is also the waterfall, where the waterfall shrine is, and you got to go in there to get the Warp Cube. You have to have the Warp Cube and the Wind Chime, or something like that, I believe it's called, in order to get all the way through the next dungeon to get to the Air Fiend or the Wind Fiend. So yeah, at this point, I should have just exited the town down there. I'm not really sure what I was doing. Alright, and we're off. So we gotta go back. That tower in the desert there is where the Wind Fiend is, by the way. Okay, so waterfall is there, Onrock is there. You can do either in either order that you would like to do. I'm gonna go do the water shrine first. Right? Oh, I lied. I'm gonna go do the waterfall cave first. It's much shorter, so it just makes sense. Very short cave, no boss, just some encounters and some treasures. So I'm intentionally actually fighting some monsters here to gain a couple levels. As you saw, I just got some kind of achievement for seeing like maybe half the bestiary or something like that. Alright, gotta handle something for my kiddo again. Be right back. Watch me defeat these monsters and go get the treasures. Okay, so starting with the warp cube, get the wizard staff, ribbon, defender, and a whole bunch of gil. So the defender is going to carry me again for a long time. The wizard staff can use confuse if you use it as an item, but I don't really see that being very handy. And what's deceptive a little bit about the ribbon right here is it protects against almost every status effect, but also every element. So it is huge, and if you play the game right, I think you find 3 ribbons, maybe 4. I would put them on the characters you are trying to keep alive the most. If you have defense against lightning, fire, and ice on a warrior based on having a diamond, fire, and ice, shield, helmet, armor, then you may not necessarily need to throw a ribbon on a knight. Alright, here we go. Here is the one part I'm going to play in regular speed because it's totally worth it. Just check this out. Best music in the game. And it's a shame exploring this place in the original, this music gets interrupted so often. But guess what? It's not going to get interrupted that much on here because I have the encounters off until I find a trap chest. This is one of the dungeons I highly recommend making 2 runs through because there's a lot to do here. And you'll see me do that in kind of a little bit of a confusing way. That high note is my favorite part of the music. Sorry I talked over the music so much and now it's in fast forward. Just go look it up. Sunken Shrine music. It's the best. So first here, I'm just following a path, but I'm actually heading toward the boss. These warrior elementals are not too much to deal with. Saw a couple of Thundaras, does the trick. If you had multiple mages, you could just do 2 Thundaras and wipe them all out. So like Thundara from an item, the gauntlets, was enough to take those guys out. From that chest I just got the Giant's Gloves, which is a very important item that you will see coming up. The character that uses it casts Saber on themselves, which is sort of like a buffed version of the Temper spell, but it also increases accuracy, which could theoretically give you more hits. It just depends on your accuracy versus the enemy's evasion. But I would highly recommend having both of your fighters use the Saber on themselves. I'm saying both like you have the same party as me. every fighter that you have, whether that be a master or a knight or a ninja or whatever, have them use the Giant's Gloves on themselves and also use haste on them. It's beneficial to use haste, the Giant's Gloves, and Temper. Trust me, it really is. But if you can only get one off, it's still something. I found another ribbon. You probably saw that. The protect ring is huge as well. So protect ring, ribbon, and then whatever the best body armor you can find. There's the black robe, the white robe, that are very good for the black and white wizard, but then there's a diamond armlet. There's only one, but it's gonna be the best quote-unquote body armor that you can find for a wizard. All right, here we have Kraken, who hits extremely hard, and he's likely to basically get like, I don't know, 8 to 16 hits. I don't really remember exactly, but it's a lot of hits. So, you see I'm going with Giant's Gloves, I'm going with Invisora, and I'm going with Haste for sure. Yeah, 8 hits, 145 damage. Saber there. 10 hits with my master without like any buffing, and it was a crit. It was very, very good. So ink can put a bummer on your very good attackers. So you see my master just got Haste, Giant's Gloves, and Temper all stacked on him, and he's not blind. So we'll see how this does. So 16 hits while blind, that still did over 500 damage, almost 600. 20 hits, 1,403 damage. That's ridiculous. If the fight continued to go on, it would be beneficial to keep casting Temper on the same attacker too. You can, yeah, you can do some serious damage here. So, I'm sure you see why a master is kind of ridiculous. So instead of leaving here with the warp, I decided to go exploring, and I gave up about halfway through and used exit. I'm like, hey, I got the spell. Yeah, instead of backtracking, it's better to just warp out and then go back in, because warping out, you can go to the inn, like you see me doing here, rest up. If you had the encounters on, you can get ready to fight a bunch more monsters, and then you need to go back in. You do actually have to explore this whole place. Okay, so that's the path I took the first time, and here's another path. So now we're going upward, up floors. There's a tricky thing that happens here where the screen is like a wraparound to fully explore. It's interesting. So when we start finding the diamond equipment, the helmet, the gloves, and the armor are only equipable by the knight. So that's the one thing other than the Excalibur. So right, the knight can use the diamond equipment and the Excalibur that the ninja cannot. Just something to keep in mind. The diamond equipment is also extremely good. So I am definitely handicapping myself by having a ninja, but the knight can just be a little bit boring. So this diamond armlet that I just found here, you see how good that is? Yeah. And I think there's only one in this game. Other versions of this game. Yeah, just a quick sidebar. The soul of... what's it called? It's not Soul of Rebirth. Whatever, the Dawn of Souls version of this game has super bosses and additional dungeons and additional equipment and all this really cool stuff that is missing from this version, which I think is a little bit of a bummer, because it's really enjoyable even just to be able to start dealing ridiculous amounts of damage with your characters and getting items that actually make them more useful. Finding a staff that can cast flare, stuff like that. Yeah. Here's the wraparound thing I was talking about. Rosetta Stone. This you have to get from here. And then, so now I have all the diamond equipment that I can't use. Just showing that I can't use it. So the Rosetta Stone is meant for us to be able to understand Lufinian and then go to Lufinia and get the wind chime or whatever it's called, wind bell, I don't know. But in order to use the Rosetta Stone, we don't have Google Translate on our phone. We have to go see a scholar who can use it to teach us an entire language in about 15 seconds. So that's pretty cool. We have to go here to Melmond. Yeah, Melmond. Roam the town aimlessly like I am. And then remember, he's in the upper right. This is Un. Un will make an appearance in Final Fantasy III as well. So that's pretty cool. Thank you for teaching me Lufinian so fast. Yay. Okay. So now we're going to leave the town and go to Lufinia, which is another one of those that is very far from the parking space. Right there. Diagonal walking, fast forward, and no encounters. Things that are helping me out tremendously right now. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go here. I'm very much looking forward to playing Stranger of Paradise because they flesh out this, essentially the story of this game, remixed, remastered, and made interesting. I have it on order for PS4, so yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting to see how that goes. I didn't see what he just gave me, what it was called, Mirage something. Let's just call it the doohickey to get into the tower. That's all it is. It's a doohickey to get into the tower. So right here I'm making note of the spells that I'm missing. I only have one level 8 of each. So I'm gonna get some more. See you next time.